This is Chariot.
Abusianfo Yamamo Akaba Yamamo Ajo Eba Chariot TV. Yada masise dani dengina munya mre ene yen etna aha na yesua ade. Dwumadi edi so no Love and Family Corner. Na minim se dwumadi ayedi no wani eje ho. Se deda moyema ye no bra wo hu mi mesra se wo be share na ofofro nso ensa aka na ono nso etumi ahwe bi. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, IG, X, our first name friend Twitter. Inti you best say so be like it page no sound like it abomadi like it na share na afofro nso ensa enkabi. Me am di dwumadi e chia me ye friend me Samuel Ababio. Said the da munim no ye ne ye papa ba ko pe dani de nyina onya kwan and ne ye ebesua de ene nyame adom asan abeka yensa ade din e de opanyi kojo asa that ye na nwumre ye ma wakwa ba ebadwuma de so
Yenua mpancho mo teden.
Kristo adom ye ho eye pa na also e
Nyame ado me ho ye meda ase.
ya okay na abusuafo ye best mu se baby a wo hwe ye mfiri bia no be ma ye hu baby a hwe ye mfiri o question and a comment obetumi e de aba na yakan se na be adwumadie no e be ye kama amaye from last week in share adwumadie topic we I say topic if my parents are opposed to my marriage, can I go ahead and still marry? If papa dom church ye joma bebre and then so the a phone toss me no be wie no cry na me pese ye hwe free this angle ye hwe case study no ye hu say obema na wo for no problem no basically because of tribal baby oba no efre itina na obema ne maame ewo problem ho na me pese me bisa se we ye koswa no ene enye recap ye tiesi man ne sa me pese me bisa se ene no me pese ye hwete se problem no based on say me Church of Christ ni ana me yo Christo ni na me pese me ba no oba no be ma wakofa no no nso enye Church of Christ ni ana say onye o Christo ni ti eno titire ena ye ba behwe but before then no eja sa me pese ye hwe bibi kakra wo case study ni mu say abrante no hwe a one abaya no etna for be 4 years ansana okwa introduce oba no ama na wofo na anaso oba no so call introduce no ama na wofo me to me who say obetima boy kakra bi ansana ya tiesi we no say uhia wo bi a ehu be hia se ni manimu na odi nipa ne be kire wawofo anaso wo betwen kakra because abrante the case no 4 years you say to me who say wa waste abaya ne time tis o man nko anase man nko ti uti we free wa na ye tiesi enede ni
Meda ase michia etiefu nyina ne dwufan. Niete ne se se me bi ho se yebisa ansa na yetimi yi asembisa no ano. Adenti na wonante for 4 years. For what? That prolonged time of dating no then na ediba. In most cases, people date for that long because they weren't ready to marry. Na when you're ready, say, okay, warrior, why date? When you're ready, say, okay, warrior, who could date? You only date when you are ready to marry. And so, yene sadia, ube who dating, a very short amount. And if there are obstacles, and
Etiabusha 4, yes. Once again, you are live on Chariot TV. Open Pato, I saw Wahomano, Wahomano, H. Track. Wahomano, H. Track. It's over to me. I need kakra my ya, yes. Wahomano, H. Track. So, Timenka. Hello. All right. Open your answer. Daddy. Open your answer. So, Timenka. Wahomano, H. Track.
Yeah.
Hello, Pato. Hello. Yes. Please, you are live on Chariot TV. This is Love and Family Corner. I'm say, Yen Papa Humano, AD Hamo Kakra. Eti ye better say ye be resolve.
Full
Na
time no
ye
can
sa
over.
to me aka. Opa you pato ate me ka. Daddy pato ate me ka. Okay. Eti said me ka ye no. Ye share if my parents are opposed to my marriage, let me go ahead. Yes, my home managed to try to be Simabe and
Yes.
Nani. It did all kind of
Yante. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So
the other one.
now mechanism.
Uh-huh.
Say ebisa ehun say I didn't know say you be nanti for 4 years.
Okay.
Let's say one kasa no year ready say ube ware. If you say why ready say ube ware anka acha bosume esia mu. Acha bosume esia mu. Na esa anka utimi introduce ni pa. Say me pese me ware krachi anaba be. I don't
Say
know.
daddy. Ya na ye pese ube share obi na
Kasa.
sebe o nim nipa no bebre. Aha, unim nipa no bebre to ube pese o hwe ni abaku nyunu mi se ansana o de wa wo for aha. This
Dem ba
what the corner say.
miensa na ohwe.
But Jose,
Sammy, look,
daddy.
ihe adịghị missy ihe adịghị mọbọ se. Otemenka. Otemenka Sammy.
It's okay. You, see,
Hello, Otemenka. Missy,
but
ihe adịghị mọbọ se. Yemu binu aware over 40 years. Yemu binu aware over 40 years. Still are you sua ya ho.
hey,
Menim se wote ya no a.
but
Missy
hey,
yemu binu ya ware over 40 years. We are still learning to know each other. In fact, we are even learning to know ourselves better. So, what do you want to know about that woman, that man? I may take you 4 years. Let me tell you something. Some dated for 10 years. They got married 2 weeks, the marriage collapsed. Some dated for 6 months. They got married 1 month, the marriage collapsed. Some dated for 6 months, 3 months. They got married and they've had a very stable relationship over the years. So, what do you want to know? It will take you 4 years. When you're ready, so be worry. when you are ready, we are not ready. When
Oh,
you are
Daddy, if I
not
don't
ready
think
to marry, then focus our journey. Wotu saa kwan tententen because sɛ wotu esisi a sɛ ɔyɛ ready mete wo nka sɛ wo nte me nka deɛ a but it's working now mete wo nka paa
okay, but other na etwetwe kakra. Yes, now
wote me nka ɛnde mete wo nka alright nti sɛ wote me nka so wohu sɛ obi date for that long na kyerɛ sɛ nipa no na ɔnyɛ ready sɛ ɔbɛware ɛna ɔdate amanfo date nso ɔno nso date bi nansɛn no ayɛ fene a obiara edi bi nti woyɛ aberante wadi mfirihyia aduonu nti ɛsɛ wodi ti wobisa sɛ deɛ abɛ na wobɛware a yɛn nam hɔ moyɛ dɛn 4 good years na afei de mode nneɛma bi akyɛ up to certain point bi a afei yɛbɛka sɛ ɛnyɛ yie no na ayɛ sɛ nea muntumi ngyina biem but sɛ same iba online anka mɛpɛ sɛ mebisa wo question because 4 years no ɛyɛ wopɛ sɛ wote nneɛma bi asi na wohu nneɛma bi ase a adɛn na saa 4 years within 4 years woama wo parents ahu ɛsɛ dɛn na wohwehwɛ bio na manante for 4 years I think line no nyinaa is off I don't know if I'm still on because Facebook wɔ ha no nyɛ adwuma it's working, yeah. But the link na the member so no is not working because nneɛma bi wɔ ha no.
good. Pajwate Menka, hello.
Sammy, you are back.
Yes, I'm back. Pajwate Menka.
Okay. Meto nkapa.
Good. Perfect. Now also will be some myself. Say, I didn't know. Say, mene abaya no ho for. I said basically no. Your fan say, mehia nipa no. I said me hu nyoma ba ko mienu bi. Ansa na me de na kɔ ma wo for. Say me hu na e bi abosomi asia enso echi e bisa me say na abaya yi wɔ he. Na say bia afena me suma be hu abaya ni suban yi a me mpa. Na just say me hu de meka che me parents mu bisa me anti ono kɔ. Na makofa second one bi and also the same thing. Iti ya na ye me mu ani be ye susu say.
Subaben na ohwehwɛ.
Yeah, so
My question is suban ben na wohwehwɛ. You see, me catch a young lady bi say if a man ask you out, or very maybe say yempie. Acha within 1 week, ɛsɛ obisa ne nti a mupie. And then the
wow.
Obiano kasi, oh yes, sir. Obeka say why desperate. Obeka say why desperate. My desperate then. My desperate then. Meteme baby. Who say yempie? Yepie. Na me bisa say, what is the purpose of this meeting? Then into be offended. Now I can say my desperate. Go your way, because I'm not asking you to marry me.
Wow.
Yes. Oh yeah, obia otie me program yi so no. If any man ask you out, obia bia ka to yempie. Look, Ebi ansa na wabisa ne din bisa ne sɛ den ti na mo pie. Ansa na wabisa ne din.
Oh, Obegas we
Omo reason for going out. The man should be able to tell you why he went out. Who's it?
Obegas we rude.
Na
Like,
sɛ banka sɛ kɔgyina ne na wabisa ne sɛ krakye na wode nti Debbie. You can't rude a sɛ meba Sami ɛdeɛ nti na ɔsɛ onim then I'm being rude. Oh, Sami menyanka me na wobɛpue paa o. But anyɛ biara mesrɛ wo mepa wo kyɛw mepɛ sɛ mete biribi ase. Den nti na yɛpue. Wobɛtumi ama me reason. What you make an say? You are not rude. Who can say nipa no yɛ rude wɔ saa kwan yi so ya? Mente ase. Emu na wa be gyina wo ba ya wo say yɛmpue den nti na yɛpue. Then you are being rude. But wo say yɛpue me so you wura me da ase. Sɛ woahu me na wopɛ sɛ yɛpue. Na mepa kyɛw o. Sɛ wobɛtumi akyerɛ me ne nti a yɛmpue ana. Oh, ɛyɛ adamfo kɛkɛ. Me obi a I will go out with you ɛyɛ adamfo kɛkɛ. Yɛte hɔ no a yɛnom nsa no so obi nso ba na ohia me. Na ɔno sɛ ɔbɛware na mepɛ na I will go. Because ɛyɛ adamfo kɛkɛ.
Okay.
If only the women go this way on that tangent, anka yebegyae saa prolonged dating. Now that 4 years na monam no then na moyɛ. Uhu nipa ne yɛ. There are some basic things. I say nipa fundamental things you need to know about the person. And number one, it is his or her background. And his or her background includes the parents, siblings. That is number one. Baby or ye juma. So go school, if I not go school. These are the things you need to know about the person. And the who name ni parents, who name ni siblings, who name she more than 4 years. There's something wrong with you. There is something wrong. Bibi fufo na mope enya ware. Mo ye bibi fufo and tell me the truth. Bibi fufo na
that is our time frame, no. Jacka from what time to what time? Be appropriate say them Mesha Bema may introduce you nama Mebusia for. Say right from the beginning, no. Say ye say ye and na yembe train years and sana yako. The parents have a
Sami wa ubeyi sa asem ya no. Na ubeyi ya no. No, I'm going to guide you because we are learning. We are learning. Okay. So I'm going to guide you, lead you to me pato ebra ko school na wonye adwuma no. O dwene dan rent ho. Sami, emra o ko school a on starting year adwuma no. O dwene dan a obe rent ho.
Me pato there.
Adenti.
So
you're ready to be rented.
Me ready. Me niska. Me adwuma nti.
So be sit down.
Yes.
Be rented down. Okay. In the time ben na ufi ase ebisa edi dan ano.
Ideally, bra me sha say adwuma kakaka kenya me bisika kakaka shame ho.
Nti answer na odi dan no na unim say wo sika obetumi atua rent.
Yes.
And yes,
Okay.
Okay. You see, Sahana Warete, you only go out to look for a suitor when you are ready to marry. You don't, it is not because you are old, many. Inti meseminya or baby or maybe na men and nantel. Na ye steady ye na damn maybe You're wrong. You're
Wow.
wrong.
Wow.
You're
But
wrong. You see, the idea you're wrong when they say, when you are ready to marry, uhu obi a woyɛ due diligence, background checks bi, ansa na wa approach no.
mhm.
Wɔho. Nti mehu awura bi no m'ani gye ne ho a, metumi aka so, abena ɛte sɛn, ɛhe na wote? Mebisa wote a, fine, okay, ɛnna betumi abɛsra wo. Na akɔsra no ɔho baabi a ɔte baako. Wonka
When you feel
hwee. Wote meka na ase. You can give yourself maybe. Oh yes, metumi abɛhu baabi a ɔte. Wote meka na ase. Na wohu baabi a ɔte na ɔho fie no a, na afei wafi ase yɛ wo underground investigations. Wonye obi a ɔbɛn no wohu n'adamfo bia no wabisa ebi a ne maame efie wahu ne maame ɛna eyi woyɛ wo investigations. Ansa na wa approach no formally sɛ yɛpie nti ansa na wabu ne pie no at least no wɔ background info about him or her. This is when you are ready to marry. When you are not ready to marry and you want to go in for something else, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you want to go in for something else, that one you kickstart a relationship without due diligence. But
wow.
when you are serious and you are ready to marry,
It not just in this sense, said me possessing a yampa, then there will be no need for sad dating because basically, dating a period I say, more they steady, mohoni sanyuma, like a who is a day, yeah, be bresa.
men can say dating here. Sammy,
Okay.
I can date you. Even a man can date a man. But what kind of dating are we talking about? Is this for business? You see, muhu the word dating na. Mo adwene nyinaa yɛ minsuru ameka sɛ yɛ guamambɔ.
You,
Adwene ne nyinaa yɛ
that is
guamambɔ.
true.
Exactly. And yes, sir, the word dating is harmless. It is innocent. It is menka ne dempo. Dating a dangerous word because I can date you, but for what purpose? And that's why anything Americans say, oh yeah, baba no be to say me person me date you. Abisane say for what? Ebi na subject bi na oye na wontimi na won so wo ho nimdie to person wo boa no be date you on those lines are fine. Monko na mko suade. Monko na mko suade.
Interesting.
Okay. But if it is towards marriage, I'm talking about marriage. I'm not talking about going to do your own things. But if it is about marriage, then you need to be ready first. And when you are ready, acha 3-4 months, ubehu say, oye ni papa me ware na yi ana me ware na enye yi. Wa ubehu with acha 3-4 months, you know, you get to know. So by
Wow.
the 6 months, you are able to take a decision. Yeah, by the 6 months, you'll be able to take a decision whether to go ahead and marry her or leave him or her. And so, within this period, now, while when you are praying now, person or now your investigation, now purpose, no, you say, oh, share, be a finimu, the basic things, a woman, so, that time, no parents refuse, say, would need problem. And how?
Very well. Yes. Yes.
Anyhow, because
Yes. Because
4 months up to 6 months, a kanyama na ohwehwe no ho ni bi e ka ho e no ka ho. Now when you get too much involved, monam oba mpesi ma obeda wo ho o si wo niam ma o to iPhone na ma no o to credit o supply data o to school fees na fe o every day mu ATM card kura wa de ama no wa ma ne pin. What did I make an say?
yeah.
Then 4 years. Now, mommy no package you say there be Yehu bibinti yempene. I mean, you can tell the effect on you and or partner. So you don't get too much involved for anyone to tell you say you're wrong. But you only need to be ready. In fact, before so be pikura no, oh, compa catching papa no mami say many adwuma me ye adwuma. Nti say me dwuna ware me pese me ware. Nti dada me hwehwem. Me nya bia me ba e kire wo. This is the way to go.
Wow.
From that point, who parents be fierce advice, and who you are, and sometimes you can even talk to counselors. They can also help you. Me one for be I won't worry, they come to me for guidance. Well, so this is the problem. Watch it. Wow. We are most of the problems na self-inflicted. Yeah, but I didn't say you don't go to any landlord and tell the landlord say papa who dan yi few that me school na me ye adwuma na etua me ka me rent nti aya wa ma eje ki no ma demu kakra. Do you do that?
No.
Adena aware de mu pese mu jiki na mu demu kakra. Aware a won ware ye no.
Wow.
Mu je
So
ki
interesting.
safua na mu demu kakra. Wa na ma demu kakra. Wa na ma demu kakra. It doesn't make sense.
Now, it
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. What the answer?
A man and Casa do baby almost say too early. Let's give ourselves some time to know each other. Because we go share about now, say the next 6 months, 8 months, the person is certain year while you're no because I said also rush like almost can and yet from man and quiet side almost can be. So I say a person rush to your boy home. But and must fear me because said they all can the age you might be disappointment next your man relationship. So I think hey, it was somebody for
Okay.
Hello. Pajote
Mr. Host.
Yes, yes.
Obia bi any platform use, but obia bi o platform no say afa nkra yi man. Fa nkra ya mede ma we fam.
Madam for beer,
so obia bia mete won ka pa, o te menka. O te menka na.
Madam
Mete
for
won
beer
ka.
also.
Mete won ka. Mrs. So obia bia wo platform use ya mede nkra yi ma. Okay. Nti fa nkra yi ma mia on fa nkoma ni nuanu mia no. Say which comes first? Sex or marriage? If they are able to answer this, because Sami me obia ube se me pe ube se oware me next by ene we are in May. Na be se oware me August. Na me say too earlier. Fine, me need problem. It makes sense. But what doesn't make sense to me? This same woman also is too early. Onimu enough. Inti ontimi emfa ne life emma wo. Nanso this same woman within 2 weeks no ne da. O makwan na ne da. Okoya na obai.
Asemaba.
No, obarima mi nim no mintimi enware no. I agree. It makes sense. Na obarima
Yes.
wo nim no enough no. Obarima wo nim enough no. And then na ne da.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
So if I
Wow.
make them say, Mono, you go in for something else, you don't go in for marriage.
Wow.
Because if it is marriage, it is straightforward. Well, I'm ready. Are you ready? Within 3-4 months, we get to know say ebe ya na enye yi.
Mm.
But hempempi Sami, you know it. Enye marriage into na moko mo pe privileges attached to marriage, Moko fifi once. Na mo decide say the mo be worry. And the problems no be eba.
Okay, but eja ma me fa comment kakra. Me hu say man no e ba so pa. Ma me fa comment kakra bi. Yes, you are live on Chariot TV. This is Love and Family Corner. Let's just say obema ye hu baby a o hwe yen efri. Yvonne AJ or say good afternoon, brethren. To Yvonne, yeah, that was say. Patrick K. Abbey, Danny Dang now say, Unya Daje, Unya, yeah, that was say. Or say, good evening, brethren, watching you live. Mena Ama, yes, Grace, Madam Fo. I'll say 4 to 5 years, or say, Martin Esiako from the Yesofo Balcon, also saw here live. Patrick Ababi must say, I do subscribe to the counsel of Mr. Asa. It's the main reason most ladies miss a lot of good husband prospect in the name of dating someone. Grace Sam Baby must say harmless dating. Patrick said, if you take out sex, you can date multiple suitors and choose the best out of it in a short possible time. Nti Patrick so dia ɔde aba no no. Dorothy Boache said the minim no na. Ɔno say nice one there. Cecilia Boateng and so say marriage comes first. Yes, the question that the beside on they will say marriage comes first. Grace Assam baby must say most of the men don't have marriage intentions. And Dorothy Boache so say to me is marriage before sex. But now those men of this world, they like sex before marriage. Yes, I am interested, but it's the other master. Some of them will comment, but what I'm say na afu from so answer and kabi. A man boy cheap. We want sex before then. I'm boy cheap. Other master. My young baby, I'm more ye if I'm more share na afu from sanka. Iti eja. I just say, Michelle will be a match 6 months. I was even who said, ni pay
Exactly.
Obebuame and
Ubetimi
Ombuame,
aware
and
na
Yoma,
aware.
to me, yes.
That's
Then you have to
excuse.
be
That is
so
that is that is you see that is when you are ready. When you are not ready, it will take you years. So when you are ready, actually 6 months, you get to know. Actually, in fact, the first few months, 2, 3, 4 months, we can make a decision. What do you make it? And I like the comments, Patrick, Patrick Abbey. You see,
yes.
we frown on multiple dating because there is sex involved.
There's sex in it. Yes,
And
yes,
yes,
yes.
Anka, there is nothing wrong with multiple dating. What do you make an say?
Wow.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
me person me worry. Me share akosua na ma hwe abena. Na adentina me that freedom, that luxury. No. And then it is up to them to compete. Me, when a lady came to me, say, boy, a person worry and me, I know those. And I'm saying, you are in competition. So, you are in competition.
Hey.
So, well, now, what offer Ababa no what do on to no so 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, worry no. And then one day, bam, me parents is one praying. Aden, Bonibe na why. So why should you travel that road, that long road? It is not helpful. And
Yeah.
I don't think it is fair. My issue is if you don't want to marry, you just want to play around. Go ahead. Maybe I will not. That is not my advice. I'm not telling you say go and have sex. I can't. As a Christian counselor, I can't. I can't do that. But
Good.
if that is what you want, now if that is what the man wants, then you know say most say mo. There is nothing like marriage. Nti mudu baby no obi aso kɔ no kwan a obi anye mfomso obi anye afi. What do you make can say? NFA ɛsɛ ohun sɛ nipa na ɔne nam na ɔne ne da no. Mo bɔkoro no. When you are having sex, you are stealing. And so saa na saa nipa no betumi anya obi foforo nso akɔda. And when that happens, you cannot claim the victim of cheating. You can't.
Yes.
I hope say Samuel Tenya Mekano.
Yes, me too, pa.
Wo ne no da. Wo nware ye na ne da. Krono, you are cheating on yourselves. Now, se me no bo krono wo kokomlimli. Na me no ye bo krono kokomlimli. No chine bi wo ko kaneshi ko bo krono na manko bia. Na ma ba me bo afu sa ade na ko bo krono kaneshi no wa be fa manko. Me bi saw. Ma chiro okro no bo ye bo kokomlimli. Ochina bi wo ko bo krono no kaneshi. Wo ko bo krono no kaneshi na me mete o me bo afu se ade na wa ko bo krono no kaneshi na wa mbo mamane contract be na me no wo.
Only me ni contract bia.
No ni contract ye nyina ye okro no.
Yes.
What do you make can say?
Yes.
Aha. The only one who can say is a victim to cheating ne ono won na. Na mo agree say ye be ware ye na ansa na ya ware. And they say o partner no ekofo bi fufura, then you can ubetimi aka say he or she is cheating on you because you've agreed on something. But once you are cheating on yourself more than the Eba cho we bue kwan na man motorway. Oja fufuro be fa so.
Wow.
And don't come, when this happens, don't come and cry. Oba, mema tissue, usunu na meboa na papa we ni asisu, was more. So that, and that's the therapy. Oh, that's the therapy I'll give you so that you can get healing from weeping. What the American say? Usumoa, you get the therapy and you get help. In the end, oba, mema tissue, more, maybe we'll be in my office. And those who come and weep, I just supply more. Continue weeping. What do you make? So this is the point. Our concept of dating. The concept of dating, ya ne bibi fufuro kra. Ya ne bibi fufuro kra and they create problems. Emma, yen nyina. In fact, enye mo nkwa awofo kra create problems mine. Ọbẹfa ọba no ne na-akọda na ọdị na-abẹtụ họ so ọnware ne biem. Ebi kura na obi nim a certain lady nipa na ne kọda wie no. Ọ ne kọda wie no. O say one say we are not compatible.
Oh.
Or catch a lady and say we're compatible. And then sometimes, sometimes on a space like this, there are certain things. There are certain things you cannot say. Anka maybe say, on the koda and anko. So what does it mean? Say we're compatible. One another day, it means say sex in an opera and ya worry. But I think someone is expressing concern. Be say, these boys are banu. I just say on one now. And what is the guarantees on the dance or be worry? Inti Sami, okay, say Mr. Say mama can bury man me and on worry me. Inti kwesiba. Send a bear me sa suru no if you na men nada. No me nantua no one worry me. No ko. Na ya onso aba. Na the same thing. For how long are you going to use your as template template or example for the coronavirus na test test and answer. What they make an say? Oh, the home
Yeah.
for the test instrument. What they make an say?
Hmm.
And so when a lady came to me, Nefi Wanda or confesses on another dano, and I'm so okay. When yada a chum, we are not going to discuss that. But now, if the man comes back for another sex, tell him say, "Nyope so hunu, we on take decision. Don't give him more sex." I mean, say a test, they want test back. In Pachawa, with him, I can't say test back. Yes, and America. I'm talking about the client. I'm talking about the client.
A client, yeah, about
They are
office.
testing back. And now, may counsel Namaka say it is enough. Why a mistake? It is enough. Now that man, if really he wants to marry you, this is the time. Don't give him sex anymore. A married man day, I always tell my sisters and my daughters, hey, what about you be you? A married man, what they told her my ye be ye. Sami bɛyɛ mɛyɛ ɔsɔfo bɛyɛ politician bɛyɛ teacher bɛyɛ engineer bɛyɛ doctor bɛyɛ hena bi obi a ɔbarima bi a ɔyɛ ɔbarima bi a ɔde ma na ɔbɛyɛ
Sir.
wɔn so it is up to the women to protect themselves. Oh, they need to protect themselves so that we don't take them for granted. And then they will say, "Say one fan man, obi di be man." Well, obi di be man, say no enye wasep. You're not in cheddar in your WhatsApp. You are talking about yourself. So please, dating must be properly defined
Mm-hmm.
so that we will not go in to do anything and call it dating. No. They have been dating. From day one, they have been dating. Dating was I saw my aunties and uncles dating growing up.
Way
I
back.
saw how they I saw how they went about it. Nipa no ansa koraa na ɔne me ante ne bɛkasa no ne abɛbɔbɔ kɔkɔɔkɔ
Mm-hmm.
because wɔn ayɛ background checks ne nyinaa nti ɛbɛbɔ kɔkɔɔkɔ no wie a mehu bi ɔba fie a na ɔbɛsrɛ a me maame ne me papa ɛne ne bɔ nkɔmmɔ a ɔkɔ a na yɛafrɛ me ante no sɛ kɔ na kɔgyaa ne kwan wonantew kakra some few meters bɛ sɛ wɔgyina hɔ bɔ nkɔmmɔ wɔbɔbɔ nkɔmmɔ a sɛ ɛndeɛ 1 hour a wɔbɔ nkɔmmɔ na ɔbarima no kɔ na ɔbea no aba fie kɔsi da yɛyɛ wɔn ho ade.
Wow.
And so they were dating. Yeah, they were dating. They were dating. Na wei de wobɛfa no akɔda ne nkyɛn adeɛ akyɛ ebinom kura tutu akɔda mmarima no wɔda fie hɔ afebɔɔ. They are dating. Na anɔpa abɛsen kɔdwumadwuma na abɛsen akɔda a wɔn wareyɛ. And then they are dating. One day pɛpɛɛpɛ ohyia another lady. Na ne hwene yɛ fɛ kyɛn wɔn hwene a wato baabi na ɔkɔ. Na afei wusu. So please, let's define dating properly. Ansa na saa 4 years no koraa akɔba sɛ mede ne kɔ na parents mpene. Don't create that problems for yourselves.
Okay. 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 That is very interesting. And I think say you know able share be from because it me and say be disappointment free her. And that me ready me know yeah dream pop. And I just I was here bottom here ready. Na yesika see be ready and sana ya kwanya fe de study ho be 1 year and say 2 years and sana yeah that was say in that way no afi na you see e be say parents no reject oba me de number say e be oba no based on faith or nye Christoni enti me man kwan me ma ye ma ho kwan ma o nware na eno no sa no ye be ne den.
Okay, you can't fit Faith, complete trust or confidence in deity. It can be in any other thing, but we near can you can't sorry once, but yes, sir.
You.
And then in a deity. And then in addition to that, a strong belief in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual conviction rather than proof. Because sometimes, wohwɛ wo nyamesom na wohwɛ obi di a saa de wi. And so sometimes nyamesom no wodwene ho a ayɛ sɛ it doesn't make sense bi. Because who professor bi paa na ɔkoto bosom ɔno no gidi no no wotena meka na ase. It is without proof. Now, we and if you are so it tells you that we have different faith around us. You ebi a close, but your divisions that group num. Mamemfa no, yemfa traditional religion. What you make as traditional religion may look as one, but at the same time, no, they have different kinds of teachings and beliefs under traditional religion.
Yes.
Now, we and if you come to Islamic, who here, I say we need divisions. One year back, once at least we have two main ones: the Ahmadis and the main line is Islam, mainstream one. Okay, but ukoma yesan wo tinayiya whatever bibri yende men kai din bibri. So I will not want to make a mistake, but they have divisions and yet just two. All right, over Christianity yen nyina yeni echere faako say Christo, but I tell you doctrines differ plenty, even organization, everything. Now, we are no difference no woman. Even in the same church, we have different levels of faith.
Faith, okay.
In the same church, we have different. In the found say, when you be called a sorry back levels, no, and yepe. And then someone may ask, I didn't make a way, me per se yet say, I didn't see. Nti na mede mo afio sɛ ka fit. Ebinom don't care much if it is Christian religion. And please, if you are listening to me, get Timasi. I'm talking about denominations. Nti infama no kosi baby. Nti some of them don't care. O Anglican, o Pentecost, ibetimi aware much. But ebinom nso wɔ hɔ a it must come from the same church. It must come from the same church. And Ubisamia, I have not seen any law in scripture. Actually say you must come from the same church. Not yet. Say ye program and answer even during this program so be emre bisa or Bible numa obetimi ediaba. In most times, ebinom basis they go back to the Old Testament. Now when you quotations, they say Deuteronomy 7:3, Ezra chapter 9:2, when God was complaining through or was telling the people, say they have mingled themselves, marrying other faith. Whenever we are reading the Old Testament, they say, and they say, Israel was not just the Jewish religion, was not just a religion, but it also had a national character. It was not a universal religion. it had a national character. And your mind back a religion. And so Nyankopɔn ɛmma wɔn mmara a ɔma wɔn mmara no within that context. Ɔma wɔn mmara no within that context. Say wɔyɛ ɔman baako ɛyɛ national religion nti no wɔmfa wɔn ho mfra other tribes. In other words, okɔ the other tribes no ma now it's like religion no wafiw. Because other tribes were considered as abosonsomfo. Other tribes, Israel was a holy, it was a special group of Nyankopɔn ɛtwe wɔn fi all other nations or countries. Eyi wɔn de si hɔ, so ɔno wɔn nanto abedu certain time. And so Nyankopɔn ɛma wɔn mmara a it makes religious sense and spiritual sense as well. Because medemo ɛyɛ adwuma bi enti mo nkɔware emfi bebia.
Yes.
Now Bible no okɔ Galatifo nhoma o say New Testament and as a Christians ɛyɛ spiritual Israel. And so these are the thoughts of some of Christians. Say spiritual Israel there. Law never physical Israel must be applied.
Must be, yes.
And that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. The reason why I make us say it is unfortunate is that these same people will not apply certain laws under the Old Testament. But when it comes to marriage, you want to refer to Galatians 6:16 and make it a point and intinu as to say you worry from the same church. Now, in the New Testament, you can see standards have been raised by Jesus Christ. Samuel Betimia in John 13:34. Amami.
John 13:34.
34.
Yes, I will do that.
Then
John chapter 13, verse number 34. How can I say? A new commandment I give to you, that ye love one another, as I have loved you, that you also love one another.
So listen to Jesus Christ. Utie Yesu asema okana. Also a new commandment. He was talking about love. Okasafa odon. And once he mentioned new, Same catch will say, hey, now share new shirt. A say then old shirt. What do I say?
At least there was some sort of comparison.
Exactly. So minya can say new shirt purchase old shirt. Okay. Now Jesus is saying a new commandment I give you. So what was the old commandment concerning love? It was love your neighbor as thyself. That was the old commandment. And Jesus is telling us, no, I've raised the standard. That standard is low. It's lower. It is inferior. And over Hebrews, the book of Hebrews will tell us that the Old Testament law was inferior to the New Testament law. It doesn't mean it didn't come from God. But it was inferior. Because God used it. In fact, Galatians 1, God was using that temporary to get to a destination where he will bring Christ, and Christ will be the fullness of God's plan for mankind in the whole world. The universal religion, which is Christianity. So it is totally different from the national religion now. In fact, the 2 Corinthians chapter 3 says, we are ministers of new covenant.
New covenant. Yes.
So we are not ministers. It means some apam fofo. Some apam dada.
Dada, yeah.
What the say? Jesus is telling us that the standard has been raised, the
Praise.
bar raised. So this time, we are going to love ourselves as Christ loved us. Kristo no ɔdɔ yɛn ɔkwan bɛn so ɔde ne ho nyinaa man. So Christians must sacrifice their whole being. It is not like yourself being eye for eye, tooth for tooth.
For
What did the
yes.
American say? It is a udomedi amedo, undomi amedo, and when you love your neighbor as yourself. But in this case, also bless your enemies, do good to them.
To them, yeah. Yes.
This is the new standard. This is the new standard. So when people begin to compare and equate, let me put it that way, the old law to the new law, then it is sad. Eyemobo said we'll go on that tangent. And you're right.
Mhm.
And you're right. And most people, when it suits them, then they go there. Oh. Now there are other quotations I'm a binamunsu use to validate that thinking. Say it must be from the same church.
The same, yes.
I've read it. My research, yes.
Me share obima ono nso use Galatians 6:10. Galatians 6:10 no. Or draw a conclusion we will say. Therefore, if we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of faith. Yenye depend na do ya na papa. Titi omo a yene omo wo agidi fiefo. Eti na dwen ye ne say set sade a ade papa bia beba e wo say free Yakupon fie. So yeah, yene omo ho no mo a na wo say yede ma omo. Tis a wari aba. Yeah, ye ho na wo say yeah worry. That was his position on that. Mm-hmm.
When we say do good, we are not talking about marriage. We know what it means
Exactly.
to do.
Yes, that was what I told
We
him.
are not talking about marriage. Why would they want to rope in every quotation and nise bibi kakra na they be share awarim? In any case, Sammy, me no ti fie na me pese me papa na me nye o papa na me kwa abonten kwa papa eya asempa.
David.
Me no ti fie me no ti fie okom de mama wa aduan na makwa abonten akomo bi aduan. Eya asempa. Enya asempa. This is what Galatians is telling us. Say me ntimi nja me fifu nkoye papa wa abonten. But it doesn't mean say me wan me fifu. Me fifu de na me ware me sister. What do make kana? Me fifu de na me ware me sister. So
yes.
Please, this has nothing to do with marriage. When I make say it is sad and it's very, very unfortunate when people want to bring all these quotations in. Because one kasa no why and one dream that afa baby ho. I've not yet chanced upon a single quotation. I can say the Christian must by all means marry from the same church. Not yet. But I can tell you, say in 2 places, there can even be more of Christians married to other believers or what we call unbelievers. In other words, they don't share the same faith with us.
Faith. Okay.
There are records. 1 Corinthians 7 and then 1 Peter 3. They are there. Yes, they are there. We read from the Bible. I'm not talking about another book. From the Bible, say we had Christians who were married to unbelievers or those who didn't share the same faith.
Faith with us.
But give me one quotation that says, by all means, you must marry from the same faith. What the American say. So this is what they've been, what they work, and then they will bring in other quotations. And now anyone to situation you found yourself married to an unbeliever, blah blah blah. With all that, in First Corinthians, an interesting revelation. That was First Corinthians. Very interesting revelation. Now, you can First Corinthians 7.
Okay. 1 Corinthians
Yeah,
7.
15.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 15 following. I'll say, but if the unbeliever departs,
15.
let him depart. Benjamin. Mentuaso. Hello. Daddy Bajoti Menka.
So, which means, okay, kind 14, or the kind 14, say, be who a believer married to unbeliever.
Okay.
Yes,
For
Matthew
the-
14, verse 14.
Okay. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and
For
the
unbelieving
unbelieving
husband,
wife,
good,
and the good wife is
is
sanctified by the husband.
sanctified. Sami then and coming can be. Because of Tiasa say even their children are
Children.
sanctified.
Yes.
Yes. Their children are also sanctified.
Sanctified.
So this is biblical records. And it is not only here. Now, people go back and choose 2 Corinthians chapter 6, is it 14 to 16? Let us read.
But just the unkind.
2 Corinthians 6, 14 to 16.
2
2
Corinthians
Corinthians
6,
14
14 to 16. But how can I say? Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness?
up to 16.
And what communion has light with darkness? And what accord has Christ with Belial? Or what part has a believer with an unbeliever? 16. And what agreement has the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will dwell in them and walk among them. I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
So, one are proponents of marrying from the same church. This is the major quotation. But Sami Mame no yes size kakrebi. The first line of 14. Kind first line.
Do not be unequally
Can you hear me, Sami?
yoked.
Kind first line of 14. Kind first line, Mame, verse 14. Kind first line.
Do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Exactly. Sami Ode kind you. Do not be on equally yoked
Equally.
with unbelievers. Now, pause. Me no nhwe kakra. Does it read be not, do not, no, sorry. Does it read do not equally yoke with unbelievers? Oh, Sami, I'm missing you. If I didn't know, I am critical. Hi, viewers, please. Munya botere emaye. Hello, Sami. Because I want to do this thing with you, so I'm not happy doing it all alone. So I'm waiting.
Okay, I think we are
Thank God.
back.
Thank God you are
Good.
back. Sammy,
Yes.
I want you
Mm-hmm.
to read it in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Unequally, you and if you're kind
Mm-hmm.
without the UN.
Okay. Do not be equally yoked together.
But that is not what the Bible is saying.
Mm-hmm.
You see, if the
Yes.
Bible says, do not be equally yoked together with unbeliever, then it means the believer cannot, even if that is marriage. And this thing is not about marriage. But
Mm-hmm.
even if we are going to apply it, the interpretation has nothing to do with marriage. When you
To do with
interpret the
marriage.
context, it
Okay.
has nothing to do with uh-huh.
Marriage. Okay.
But we will come to that. But even if you want to apply it to marriage,
Apply.
it is not. It does not read. It does. It The reading is not. Do not be equally yoked. So, I can say, do not be equally yoked. Equally yoked is this. Shaminsa.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
I can say, do not be equally. I just say you cannot come
Yes.
together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it says, do not be
Unequally.
unequally yoked. So, what is the meaning of this? The
Mm.
Bible should interpret itself. Let's go back to Matthew 11. Matthew 11, I think
Matthew.
verse 27. Let the Bible interpret itself.
Matthew chapter 11.
Either 27 or 11. Either 27 or 28. 12 minutes,
Okay.
I
So
don't
let's start from the
know.
27. Let's start from the
And I
27.
mean, he
Yes.
said,
I'll say, all things have been delivered to me by my Father, and no one knows the
no, don't
Son.
worry. Count 28.
Okay. Come to me, all you who
Mm-hmm.
labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. 29.
Yes. Mm-hmm. 29.
Take, yes, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls.
30.
For my yoke is easy
For 30
and
ni
my
count,
burden
Sammy.
is light. Yes. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Okay, Sammy, look at here. Jesus is telling us something that between himself and us, we are unequally yoked.
Equal.
I don't know if you can see it. We are on equally yoked. We are not equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says we have burdens. We should bring it, and he will give us his, which is lighter, easier.
Yes.
So in
My yoke
this
is
context, Jesus
easy
is telling us
and my burden is
it's
light.
easy. So we are not equally yoked.
Yoked, yes.
This is what Jesus is telling us.
It is
And
yoke na
so,
sem na oka wahana or how
burdens,
problems.
don't worry, I will match it through. So
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is telling us that we are not equally yoked,
Yoked,
or
yes.
we are unequally. You see,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is telling us we are unequally yoked. And then Corinthians is telling us that do not be unequally yoked with
Mm-hmm.
unbelievers. Now the answer is there. Don't worry. I'll come back. I will come back with you. Also, take my yoke upon you and do what?
And learn from me.
So What is the meaning of unequally yoked? Your teacher and your student, unequally yoked. So when he says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, he is saying, don't let unbelievers teach you, lead you, pull you. Now I'm taking you back to yoke, what it means. In those days, Israel from Waka yoke, dua yɛde to nantwi a ɛpla wɔfuntum fam no yɛde to wɔn kɔn tu wote nti wɔkyekyere dua no ɛma ntam nantwi tu, and in most cases no wɔde nantwi a wɔkura equal strength na wɔde wɔn yɛ so that it will be balanced. Now, according to their tradition, when there is a new member of ox, only experience, so we training na what the onono eka an experience nantwi ox no.
Okay.
Yeah, the duano one what titan experience one ne de yemiam. Na nya only experience no all year under under training no ye lose ne de no ema no. Enti experience one no na load no so no. Na all train. Also no not train. Now at the same time or the trainee the new and inexperienced nantwi. Consistent also ebeyin. I don't know if I've explained unequally yoked enough for you.
Yes.
So when the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked, it just says, don't let the world pull you. Don't let the world teach you. This is why it says, do not be unequally yoked. Because when you are unequally yoked, it means the world will be stronger and you are not going to be stronger, and the world will pull you. And yes, sir. And Kobeka say, do not be equally yoked. But in this case, also do not be unequally yoked. And this is where unequally yoked, this is the genesis of unequally yoked.
Wow.
So we are unequally yoked with Jesus. And so we allow Jesus to pull us.
His experience.
And he is telling us that do not be unequally yoked with the world. It is not marriage. And even if it is marriage, let's do some application here. Then it means if I'm going to marry an unbeliever, then I should make sure that when I go in there, that man or that woman is not going to pull me to the world. Maybe we can apply it that way. If you want to apply it that way, fine. But we should know this is the genesis of unequally yoked. So, if you want me, maybe time far spent, the point is simple. It is not in the scriptures.
In any case, next 7 minutes to conclude.
Same church marriage does not guarantee success. Yes. So in any case, me born if you what kind one line or so. So the point is faith, same church does not guarantee the success of your marriage. And same as different church does also not guarantee the success of the marriage. Honestly, if you ask me, as a Christian counselor, I will tell you, say, if you marry from the same church, it gets better. Because you have a lot of advantages. You have a lot of advantages if you marry from the same church. But please, it does not guarantee the success of the marriage. And once the Bible has records of believers marrying unbelievers, please let us advise our people. Say it is good to marry and share the same faith. Yes, my conclusion, you went off. I don't know whether I was
Yeah,
online or not.
yeah, I
But
was
let me
listening.
conclude once
I was
you are back.
listening. Mm-hmm.
You are listening. Okay.
Yes.
So we can let us advise our kings and kinsmen or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Say there are a lot of advantages when you share same faith. I agree. I'm for it. I'm not in a moment suggesting say it's just all worry the same faith. You have so many advantages when you have when you share the same
The
faith
same
in
faith.
marriage. But no one should bind it on the same faith on people because it is not in scriptures.
Mm. Wow. Wow. This is very, very interesting. Enti opanyi kojo asa na ɔkyerɛkyerɛ bibi nnwoma ani so ɛkyerɛ no. Enti awofo a you take entrenched positions. Entrenched positions on say chenchiranchen ɛwɔ sɛ me ba o wari obi a ɔkɔ asɔre ni bi anyway no. Ɔsɛ ɛhwɛ ne yie kakra. From the explanations he's given no. We ni Bible nyina so gidigidi bi a ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛwɔ sɛ awofo gyina so ɛde ka sɛ wɔayɛ mfiri asɔre no mu a ebi a mempene awareɛ no anaa sɛ biribi saa but rather no ɔsan ka sɛ ɛyɛ better so sɛ woware from the same faith na mohyɛ the same faith a ɛboa benefits bebree ɛyɛ dɛn ɛwɔ hɔ but moment a yɛbɛtake entrenched position tintintinti sɛ wanware obi a ofi asɔre no mu a yɛma ware ne mma so no yɛbɛsrɛ sɛ yɛbɛhwɛ no yie kakra. I think sɛ yɛmmerɛ no ayɛ berɛ kakra bɛfa some few comments bi patro baabi a wohwɛ yɛn firi biara no ma yɛhu ma yɛhu baabi a wohwɛ yɛn ɛfiri na yɛnkyia wo kakra na afɛfoɔ nso hu baabi a dwumadie no ɛkɔ yɛbɛsrɛ sɛ wobɛhyɛ na wa alike amaye. Patrick K. Abbey said most Christian denominations and the Lord's Church agree man is the head of the family according to the Bible. But the rule of submission, what should be the man's stand on following the husband to his denomination faith versus her own faith in Christ and the church? That is a very good question. To now Patrick K. Abbey, that was I think say and yeah network higher kakra but kakra kakra nyame yeah the dwumadie no ba ewe nisa Emilia Daniel and also said good evening brethren watching you live ye ba na nekua good hey na nekua I hope say that's to say o share me boss obehwe na waba say obehwe program nyame inshallah. Nti wobɔ mmɔden atwerɛtwerɛ Bible quotations a yɛ papa ɛboa yɛn no wotwerɛtwerɛ ne nyinaa ɛto hɔ. Yɛda wase pa nyame nhyira wo. Yɛn nuabaa Emilia sɛ ɔhwɛ yɛn firi Maryland, America man mu Maryland. I hope sɛ yɛn nuanom abusuafoɔ nyinaa ho yɛ ɛwɔ Maryland ɛhɔ. Yɛda wase paa sɛ da ne da nyinaa wokɔ so ɛhwɛ yɛn. Please, by application with focus on marriage and salvation, how well can a woman protect her faith when she marries outside the Lord's church? Because men using their leadership role as husbands may demand that of their wives. Enti say yɛnsa ye papa ye be try na yɛbisa question ketewa wei na yɛde dwumadie no aba awieɛ. Enti daddy patɔ te me nka. Daddy patɔ te me nka. Okay. I think c'est still a Yahoma no AD Hamo Kaka. But Onia Patrick Yebehe say yen saka yen papa obeboaye ama ye sa nsebise. Se mete wasi ya ye nyina gi tum say obema na ye our unity. And mostly no, I think say culturally no so warrior yes oba warrior abeko ukunu sorry. Ainti sɛ bɛrima no ɛnyɛ kristoni a ɛbɛdɛ no wɔtumi protect ɔbaa no gyidi anaasɛ ɔbɛkɔ so ama ɔbaa no atena kristo asafo mu. I think say this is what I draw from a question no. Enti sɛ yɛn nsa ka yɛ papa yɛbɛ make sure sɛ yɛbɛyi o question no ano. I think say still yɛn nsa ntumi ɛnka no but yɛbɛda mo ase paa sɛ daa ne da nyinaa wonya adagye ɛhwɛ love and family corner. All comment by or like or share ni nyinaa yɛ ni so yɛda wase ni nyinaa ka ho nneɛma dwumadie no ɛkɔ so ti mesre mo sɛ da sɛ ne nyame yɛ adom a same time no wobɛnya adagye na watie yɛ me di dwumadie ho kyia me yɛfrɛ me onua Samuel Ababio nti mesre mo sɛ yɛntumi anyi question na no a nyame yɛ adom a next week no yɛbaeɛ onua Patrick where you me noti nti nyame adom yɛnya baa next week a yɛbɛtry sɛ yɛbɛyi wasɛm na no na yɛato ayɛ dwumadie no so. If my parents are opposed to my marriage, can I go ahead and still marry? We sure so what's your number be free? Yeah, this one yeah from last week and this week. The couple and come be around home now on here so that's a net you be share yeah the asɛm foforɔ bɛba na yɛaka ho asɛm yɛsɛ sɛ ɔbɛhyɛ na like page no na foforɔ nso ɛnsa aka yɛnkopɔn ka ho maka ho